How's it going, guys? And welcome to some late night Total War action. Well, I don't know if it's late for you guys, but here in California, it's about 3 in the morning. And, I was just watching some Netflix and I had a spontaneous urge to get onto ladder and get some Skaven games in. So in this match, we're going to be playing the Skaven and facing off against the dreaded Wood Elves. So I definitely think it's a bit of a tricky matchup for the Skaven Wild Riders. And, Wood Elves just have a lot of tools for outmaneuvering the Skaven, who are a somewhat slow faction. And as such, I'm going to be going very heavy into artillery. So I have a Warp Lightning Cannon, and I also have a Plague Claw Catapult. So the Plague Claw Catapult, obviously there to take out archers and, just basic infantry. And then we have the Warp Lightning Cannon to take out some of the, some of the more annoying stuff. The Wild Riders, the Sisters of Thor, and the Glade Riders, all that kind of fun stuff. We're also going to be trying out a unit. I don't know if I've ever used these guys before. So these are the Night Runners with slings, and they're basically just kind of a more juiced up version of the Skaven Slave Slinger, and pretty excited to see how they do. So we do have a pretty thin front line. You can see we have 2 groups of Storm Vermin there, and we're going to play a very kind of spread out style of play. So we do have a couple groups of the Clan Rats with Spears, which honestly I feel like can hold up pretty well against like Wood Elf infantry. And if they do have to fight Cav, I think they have charge defense and they do have anti-large, and they still have that meat shield characteristic, which is nice and fun. So we're going to put one here as well. We're probably going to be holding at our artillery, but there is a chance we might be like trying to skirmish away or pull some funny business. So Skrulk's just going to be leading the charge here, hopefully not getting sniped. So just to make sure he doesn't get gooned, we're going to saturate with a couple Skaven slaves here in the front just to help give us a little bit more padding and also take away some of the lanes of attack for the Wood Elves. Top of that, let's go ahead and get our slingers here, and they can kind of be close. We don't want to be too far up, so we don't want him to Vanguard to play on top of me. So that's pretty much it for now. So let's start this battle, and good luck to my opponent. So yes, let's see if I'm still sharp here in the wee hours of the night or morning or whatever you guys want to call it. I was just actually watching Penny Dreadful. Seems like a pretty interesting show for sure. I kind of like the horror kind of, fantasy elements of it and just all that madness that's going on so far. So it seems pretty good. So we do have the 2 Gutter Runners, just going to give us a little bit of a sight on this hill. I knew we were going to be here on the Central Chaos Waste, so I wanted to have something that could give me vision and kind of scurry away with relative safety. And of course, they're not going to be too far from my forces here. So we have to make sure to take off the skirmish mode on these guys. If you guys are playing Total War, always make sure to do that, unless you want them to auto skirmish. But I've seen so many people have like their entire archer line just like routed off by that, and it's so incredibly annoying. So a Turtle Guards looks like he has some other funny business. Let's go up here and see what's going on in the hood. So let's go ahead and lock our formation here, which is going to let us move in sync. We're going to square up to our opponent, and the Warp Lightning Cannons are shooting in, and we can go after those guys. I mean, I don't. Oh, the jig is up. All right, so we got to turn, and so let's go ahead and turn this like that and get ready to party. And is there any other troops we want to kind of like position outwards? Since all his troops are kind of, his mobile forces are over here, and that is a lot of Glade Riders with Hagbane tips. So we're repositioning here, and then we can just start shooting in. Let's get our halberds kind of standing on top of those guys. These halberds can square off here, and these rats can go here, and let's get you guys right here. Great, so we're good so far. We're just going to keep cutting backwards, and you can see it's going pretty well. We're getting some free damage on the boys. And does he have any missiles? He does have Glade Guards. Let's start poking those guys down. Just screening, we can get these guys counter skirmishing because we have 140 range on them, so we should have ample tools to deal with this skirmishing with oh no, we do not want you halberds to go. You guys stay right there if that's okay with you guys. We're gonna pull back right now, just kind of keep pulling our opponent into our forces, and anything we can do to slow him down is always going to be so good and tasty here. So let's go ahead and screen these guys. We'll put some spears right behind them. And honestly, from here, we just kind of screen those guys out, and I think we'll be in pretty good shape. So, in the meantime, we could get Gutter Runners to kind of, counterplay those guys, but what we're going to do with the Gutter Runners is run them up and around my opponent's army. So let's get Skrulk, run him up there, get ready for some funny business. And how are we doing here? We're doing a lot of damage. So let's go ahead and position these guys here. Let's get these halberds right here. And, Gutter Runners are doing their job. So we're going to pull back here. Looks like he's trying to pull a quick one on me here. So let's go ahead and drop some rats to kind of break his charge a little bit. We'll charge in our Storm Vermin, get you guys going here, and you guys going here. And those rats that we're summoning there in the front will give us a little bit more of a buffer. We have to be careful not to lose Skrulk to some shenanigans. So we're going to get our Gutter Runners going back this way. And do we want to switch targeting? Those ones are pretty beat up. So at this point, we can just kind of stand those guys here, get you guys here, and we are A-okay. So we have a pretty good little formation here. We got some Skaven slaves just kind of pushing up and around. The Gutter Runners will run. Oh, we do not want you to do that. Let's go ahead and start shooting at this other group now. And we just got to keep an eye on our back line, really make sure there's no weaknesses. Most of our pockets are pretty secure here. We have some slingers kind of poking, and the Skrulk man is, where is he? He's having a good old time. So let's go ahead and pop this, and we can bless with filth on these Storm Vermin, which will hit both of our groups. And let's just kind of keep running up the hill, use some of our slaves to kind of poke. And one of the things that could cost us the game is if our slaves do take quite a bit of, not slaves, but if our Skrulk gets caught. He's not a slave. Skrulk is a mighty rat. So let's keep shooting in there. Things are looking good. We do have our Gutter Runners kind of poking the back, so let's switch them into melee mode and just have them engage on these archers, which should be pretty good. And we're also going to pick off those guys from running further. And who does he have? He has Orion. So Orion he's pretty scary. So we're going to summon some more rats in the front line. Let's go ahead and skin some slaves over there as well. kind of keep poking down these skirmishers here. And I'm really glad I brought these slingers. They're doing a great job. So Orion is always really difficult to kill, so we don't want to get greedy here. But let's go ahead and get a Plague Breath going down his formation right there, and then as soon as that casts, we'll go ahead and do this. Oh, that was so good and tasty. Oh man, that was really nice. That one, I think that one alone just like triggered the bounce of power. So we're gonna pop this standard ground right here to hit these groups. Just keep Skrulk in a relatively conservative position to play it safe. Keep screening these guys out in the back. Let's go and do this. And how are we doing on the artillery back here? So honestly, at this point we could just like switch it and shoot at those guys because we have so much going on back here. So a little bit sloppy with letting those guys get caught here, but it's a-okay. We even have his caster wrapped up by some of those. So as long as Mel isn't able to like catch Skrulk and just goon him out, I don't know if my opponent's gonna have a chance here. So let's kind of focus Orion here. Get these spears kind of screening over here. And why is there like a line of sight blocker here? What's going on with you guys? Okay. So Sisters of Thorn are pretty much offline. We're just kind of screening them out, making sure there's no opportunities to get into the cookie jar. And you can see my opponent in a little bit of a desperation mode here is going to start trying to goon Skrulk. So we're just going to go ahead and summon some rats as we run. And our spears don't intercept. We'll have another layer of rats coming in. And can you keep waddling? Keep waddling. We're getting some really good focus fire. And Stormfirm are just doing a great job here. So let's get these guys parked in here. Let's get you guys going over here. Put skirmish mode on so we don't have to worry about it. And Skrulk just needs to keep running. That's pretty much it. So the back line for my opponent, his kind of mobile harass force, looks like the Hounds of Orion doing some really good damage there, so that was solid, but we're looking pretty good. I think we're in good shape. You know, Mel's probably going to take a little bit of work here and not be able to recover from that, so let's get these Clan Rat Spears just kind of hanging out. Stormvermin MVPs, though, man, just racking up a ton of kills, and even our slaves back here doing a pretty good job. So let's go ahead and run this direction, see if we can kind of sneak around here and check the Rat Master. And I think we can go in for maybe a bit of an Alpha Strike right now, so we're going to try. We're going to send Skrulk in. Let's get some of these guys. Let's get you guys focusing here as well. And the bounce is pretty heavily in our favor, and we still have a ton of, halberds and auxiliary we haven't even had to touch yet. So now we're going to send them in. Let's go ahead and switch the Plague Claw Catapult onto these guys back here, and you can start shooting at Mel Gibson as well. So you can see he's taking quite a bit of damage. The Skrulk man having a good time. And Rod of Corruption, do we want to pop that? I don't think so. We're going to summon some more rats, send them over to bolster this formation here. So let's get you guys going here. You guys can go ahead and reposition over here to make sure they don't get compromised. And, well, you just don't feel like summoning any of your vermin buddies? What's wrong, man? You get over here. So, yeah, you can see that Mel's taking a lot of damage. Our artillery shooting at him. We have our Night Runner Slingers, or whatever they're called. I don't even know what this unit is. And it looks like that is going to be all she wrote for the people of the woods. So, yeah, let's see if Orion can just death by 1,000 Skaven rocks. And he's just getting a very ceremonial defeat here by the Skrulk man. Oh! It wouldn't be a Skaven game without some friendly fire, but I actually really like these guys against Wood Elves. Those Night Runners, they're pretty cool. Let's go take a look at them after this game and look at the stat line and everything. I think that'd be interesting. But as far as the army composition goes, we had... What? Oh, for a second I was like, how did my Stormvermin in the front line get 0 kills? These guys are very good against Wood Elves. They actually outclass Eternal Guard. They can beat War Dancers because of their armor, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they would win that. So they're a good, well-rounded troop in the front line. They have shields against missile fire. And against the Wood Elves, you want to play like a very scattered style. So you have like an open formation, very wide, and you kind of just like force the Wood Elves to get through layers. And it's one of the few factions that can like force the Wood Elves to come in. I don't know if the double artillery is really necessary, but the Warp Lightning Cannon forces them to come deal with it. And then you can throw rocks at them, and you have your slingers be more effective and counter skirmish with some of these gutter runners with poison. There's a lot of good stuff you can do. So I definitely liked this this build quite a bit. I don't think it's perfect, but I think it's a decent start against the people of the woods. And for him, I liked Orion. The War Dancers are a pretty decent meta pick. A lot of Skaven players will simply bring, Clan Rats, and if they do, that's a really monster mashy style of play. But yeah, I don't know. I would probably go less Eternal Guards, just get like 3 of them, maybe like cut 1 War Dancer, and then I would get a couple Cav units. Had he been getting like really crunk with some Wild Riders and just like even pulling them up and under my formation and charging my Slingers, charging down my, rear charging my Stormvermin in the front line, he could have buckled my front line so fast if he had done that. So I think that's what was missing. The Glade Riders with the Hagbane tips never really found home. They were getting outdone by my Slingers, and my artillery was just shutting them down. And, even if they had charged in, they wouldn't have done a whole lot. And I feel like this was a bit of a rough investment here because obviously I didn't bring Rat Ogres or good targets for them. But I really do think that having a couple groups of Wild Riders would have been really, really good, and some other kind of mobile threats. I don't really know, but yeah, I think that would have been good. Like cut a War Dancer, cut some of these guys, and go from there. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of these rats and look at the Slinger variant. So the ones we brought are, let me go ahead here and switch to the rat people. So we brought these guys. It wasn't the Night Runners, it was the Night Runner Slingers. So if you compare them to regular Night Runners, they have less range, less missile damage, so they're kind of a bit of an interesting variant. So 14 missile damage, looks like they are very, very poor AP, but against the Wood Elves, that's going to be a bit of a solid niche. And they do have 20% physical resist, 54 speed. 26 weapon strength and melee with okay melee attack. I feel like that's a decent pick. Because at 140 range, you can counterplay Wood Elf Skirmishers. Hagbane tips are very common in that matchup against Skaven, so I feel like that's a bit of a decent countermeasure against those guys. And of course, these guys, the Gutter Runners, are always good for just kind of map control and just general pressure and stuff like that. But I really think that my opponent's army would have been very well suited to have some of those, those Wild Riders. So I'm actually a big fan of Mel Gibson. I think he's quite a bit of fun. You definitely want to get the Cloak Vicious. So real quick, we're just going to take a look at an army that I think would be pretty good. You could probably cut the Blessing of the Ancients. It depends if you're on like fighting in a force or something, but you can get, you definitely want Earthblood. That's the staple. Penumbral Pendulum's okay. Withering's not bad, but against Skaven, Melkos is really darn good at slowing things down. But yeah, the Pendulum can be really punishing against Skaven. It's just like one-shots their Stormvermin, so you can get like these two and just have some fun. A couple Eternal Guard is just like your core unit. You can even go with Dryads, because Dryads do magic damage, which then surpasses the physical resist. You can get like a couple Dryads, get some War Dancers or something. I think that'd be okay. Maybe like, I don't know, 2 Eternal Guard. I think that would be pretty good. Then on top of that, you're probably going to want to get some mobile pressure. So I would recommend Wild Riders with Shield, simply because they obviously have silver shields against slingers and that sort of play. If you're feeling especially spicy, you can get Sisters of Thorn if you want to be like really micro intensive and kind of play that game. So let's kind of like optimize our build a little bit. So do we really need these guys? I mean, I guess they bring AP to the front line. So yeah, we can have those guys kind of be our front line setup here. And I mean, there's a multitude of ways you can play it. If you want to get like Deepwood Scouts, or you can even get Waywatchers to snipe out like Skaven leadership. But something like this, I think having like a really mobile force, you could even go double Sister, and then from there just go like, regular Glade Guards. And where can we cut that money? I don't know. We could cut the Smoke and Mirrors, or Mel Gibson, I'm sure, has something we can cut. Do you? Man, I hate when you're like this tight on money. It's so annoying. I mean, yeah, okay. So something like this I feel like would be pretty good. Super micro-intensive. The Wild Riders, the Sisters are obviously very good in a multitude of situations. But, again, it's contingent on micro. Glade Guard's just, to keep your opponent honest. But yeah, like something like this. So anyways, very well played to my opponent. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that game and a little bit of post-game analysis. I know it's kind of fun to mix that in. And yeah, that's going to be it for now. So thanks again for watching, guys, and we will see you guys next time.